Hey, hello everybody. How are you? I am with my son here, Zan, and then we're doing a live cognac and Pinot tasting with William Groussin. So William Groussin, located in a in a borderie of cognac, and then the family has been established since the 17th century in a cognac region. So, without any further ado, mon chéri, s'il te plaît, we're gonna introduce William Groussin. And it's Thursday night. Grab yourself a glass of Pinot if you have, cognac if you have. Just relax. It's gonna be the long weekend, and share with your friend the cognac live video. And now, William Groussin.
Hello,
How are
I'm
you,
William.
William?
Hi, how
You
are
good?
you?
Yeah, very good,
Yes,
very good. Good to see you. It's nice
yeah, very good.
to have you online to spend some time to talk about the Cognac Groussin, your company, the beautiful Pinot that you do.
Yeah.
Um, where do we start? Do you wanna introduce yourself a bit more, William Groussin?
Well, I'm the master blender from Cognac Groussin.
Yeah,
Uh, I started in 2012, but originally I made studies in media in London, so I was not meant to do this job, but I quite made some good work. I launched the brand because the family was only doing cognac for bigger company like Hennessy, Martel, in Scotch. So I created and designed a brand in my name of
so
Pinot de Charentes.
you launched the brand. So the
Yeah,
company has been in since the 17th century. So you have five generation of winemakers
yeah,
and they
cognac
make
maker.
cognac. So five generation, that's back like the 17th century when there was the first people
Yeah,
coming into the cognac region.
yeah. But they were doing cognac aging and would sell it for the bigger company, but there was no brand.
Yeah.
So as we have lots of old stock of cognac, the oldest from 1912. So we have some very interesting stock of eau de vie cognac.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a shame that it would not be put forward and to show
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
and
awesome. You introduced your new bottling just recently, I think 2017, right? Or earlier than
yeah,
2012, yeah.
I launched the company in 2012.
Yeah,
In 2013, I launched the first bottle of the Pinot de Charentes.
yeah. We're gonna get to
Um,
that. So I can see at the back you have all the nice cognac and
and
pinot.
then the cognac came after because it took me time to prepare the blends,
Yeah,
the maturations. Um, so it took me 3 years I had to wait 3 years to prepare the blend and to bottle the first cognac. And the thing is, we are in a terroir. There are six, which is called Borderies, the Borderies.
yeah.
It's the smallest of the six cru of cognac.
I'm gonna
And
show the people what you're talking about on the screen. So the Yes, the Borderies, this little one
very,
here, which
yeah,
one of the most many
the
people
most soft,
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, yeah,
very,
like
very small. Yeah.
you
So
have
it's very rare.
13 hectares in the Borderie.
30 hectares, yeah, which is quite good for this area because
It's quite big actually.
yeah, it's very difficult to have bigger surface in this area because it's very small. So,
Do you want to start talking about this small cognac borderie that you have, and then introduce a bit more the aromatic profile, and then what are the specificity of a smaller producer like Groussin, or which is a really boutique and exclusive batch. So like what I would say there's a lot more heart put into it, a lot more details. Do you want to introduce the first XO that is not available in Australia yet, but if you wish to do so, just yeah, send me a message or William, and then we can arrange. That's no problem. It will be good. Do you want to talk a bit more about it, about the first? Yeah.
well, what I thought first before I launched the company is that our vineyard is based in the Borderies, and I thought that was a good point to launch the brand because there are not many brands from this area. So I thought it was a good option to make a range of cognac exclusively Bordeaux. So I made blends only with the Bordeaux, but with different millésimes. So yeah, I created Grande Réserve. This is this one.
Yeah.
So this one is a blend of Bordeaux between 10 to 15 years old.
Okay, 10 to 15 year old.
So it's called Grande Réserve, 10 to 15 years old in the old cask. And then we have Charentes, which is a blend between 20 to 30 years old.
And what I like is the bottle are very modern as well. It's a very
Yeah,
modern look, you know, the label. It's a
yeah, that's what I wanted because cognac can sometimes look a bit old-fashioned. I wanted something
yeah.
more modern, but to keep the traditional values behind modernity.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I made this blend with only Borderies.
Yeah.
We are not many producers to do that, as it's very small, and all the all the big companies like Hennessy, Marcel, they buy lots
Yeah.
of stock. So there is not much cognac on the market
Yeah.
available.
No.
So
There's not many, so it's amazing that you can have another producer that only specialize in the borderie, you know,
yeah,
the aromatic profile. So how would you describe that? I put
so
the
Borderies,
aromatic profile, your borderie. Tell us what it's like. Yeah.
what Borderies is known for, its aromas of iris and violet.
I
When it's just
respect. Yeah.
distilled, the other way is very floral. It's very amazing. It's very floral, like violet and iris. I think we say iris. Yes. Um, so it's very delicate, very and very interesting when it's aging because it's Bordeaux can age faster than the Grand and Petit Champagne.
Ah,
And age also for a long time, like the Grand and Petit Champagne. But like Fin Bois and Bois Ordinaire, they are not types of cognac that can age very long. So Bordeaux is the middle between all this kind of terroir. So they can age long, but they get quick and interesting aromas very fastly, very quickly.
yeah. The aroma can develop quite fast compared to a Grand Champagne. The
Yeah,
Borderie takes less time to develop aromas than a Grand Champagne. Grand Champagne, you need to wait a lot longer before you have the
uh,
good aromas. But the Borderie, within 10-15 years, which is your XO, then you start to have those nice floral nuts. And as well as some, I don't know what you think about the like nuts, mushroom as well. Sometimes I can find in the Borderie that is different from the. Mm,
yeah, but when it gets older, it's more complex. But the good thing with the Borderies, unlike the Grand and Petit Champagne, is that it gets less powerful and less stronger, unlike the Grand and Petit Champagne, which are very powerful and they need a lot of
mm.
time to ease the strength. And
That is
Borderie is
your
a lot.
vineyard in the
Yeah,
Borderie. Yeah.
yeah.
So right
So
now
the
we are 1st of April. You just finished the harvest has been long finished, but now you finish the distillery, and this
yeah,
is your vineyard. You
yeah,
have
but
30
it's not.
hectares.
This is during the summer. At this time, there are no leaves yet, so the spring hasn't started yet. Well, it's just starting.
Yeah.
But so when you were showing the row of vines, and we
Mm.
could see the soil, the ground.
Yeah.
So the typicity of
Yeah.
the bottom ground is chalk with a bit of clay, sand, and I think we call it silex.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
the shell,
it's a
right?
great,
From
very,
the.
very, very, very strong stone. Yeah, and
But
it's the only,
yeah, in a
it's
way,
the
it's
only,
very similar. As it,
it's the only terroir when you can find silex
mm.
in the whole Cognac area.
And it's very similar the soil composition, the Borderie with the Champagne, because Champagne you have like similar. You have the like le calcaire là, comment on dit le
Uh,
calcaire. Non,
uh,
en,
um,
en Champagne il y a du calcaire. Argile,
uh,
il n'y a pas trop d'argile, like the.
no, no. Calcaire is the
Yeah,
chalk.
yeah, chalk. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. The chalk. Yeah, the chalk.
Yeah. Grand Champagne is very chalky. Look, the stone is very thick, and the soil is very thin, and it's very the soil is very dark, very black, and then you get to the chalk very quickly. So and then the Champagne is you have more soil and less of chalk. And then Borderies, we have chalk, silex, and clay.
Okay.
So it's different. And then Flambois and Bourbois, you have less chalk and more clay and more sand.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's the ground, the terroir is from
Mm.
long time when the ocean were covering this area and the sedentary of the ocean left
Yeah.
uh, left the things in the ground.
What are do you think some of the specificity of Cognac Groussin in a way that do you do the wine, how you look after the vineyard, or the harvest, or even further down into the production process when you do the distillation? We had a discussion about when you do the aging, much more later, like the blending at the end. But prior to that, is there you think something that is standing out, worth mentioning in your opinion, in a way that you work the wine that's specific that you can do?
Yeah, we have at least a reasonable surface of vineyards, 30 hectares, which is my brother who is who is taking care of the vineyard. He made studies in enology and vineyard. So he is very how do you say precocious about his vineyard and takes a lot of care. And so he starts from there. We have a reasonable way of agriculture. So don't put too much pesticide. We try to be reasonable with that, and we have a very good quality harvest with not too much rot. And then we have a good vines, good grapes that we can make grape juice from, and then we do the fermentation, and we use refrigerating to control the fermentation. All the temperature are controlled, because if it gets too high, the vine and the quality of the vine can get destroyed. So it's important to control all the temperature during the fermentation. And then the wine is put in big tank, and we don't put any conservatives. It's not allowed in the AOC of cognac, because when you distillate vines which contains like, for example, sulfate, it gives very bad taste in the eau de vie. So we have no conservatives and it's not allowed in our vines. Then these vines is distillated during the winter, because the cold of the winter keeps and acts like a conservative, actually. So we have a time of distillation, which is from 1st October to 31st of March, because we say it's during this time that we have the coldest temperature, and that the wine is the best time to be kept without being altered with the heat from the spring. So we first make a very good quality vine. It's important with the less rot.
It's the most important part, like, or to do a good cognac, where you need to have the good wine, otherwise you can't do any good cognac. If you are, like, it's really hard, because when you do the distillation after, it's gonna amplify the cognac, the bad aromas in a cognac if you start with the bad wine, right?
Especially if the grapes are rotten, which can happen if the summer was very wet, very lots of rain.
Yeah.
Not very good for the grapes. So we can make a very bad harvest with lots of rotten grapes, and this is very bad for.
Of course, I cannot imagine to have a cognac with rotten grapes. That won't be good.
It's we can manage this where it can happen, but the thing is, we do distillations with the leaf. It's let me see, how you say leaf in English?
The
It's
lees. It's the lees.
the lees, yeah. So
Yeah.
we want to use the lees for the distillations, as it gives lots of flavors to the eau de vie.
Okay.
But if you use the lees for distillation, we need we taste the lees, which is quite curious because it's the typicity is very it's like mud, actually. So we with the enologists we do tasting to see if the aromas are good for distillation and not too much rot. And if we have sometimes some years are wait and we can have some rots, and we don't use the lees in that case. They are destroyed because they would give bad aromas to the year that we
Understanding.
went.
So really, the lease you can't not something that you can do all the time. If there was some rot, then it's a lot harder to distill on the lease because that would be inside the cognac. So you can only do that when there was no too much humidity, when there's no rot.
Yeah, well, we try to use as much lead as we can, but we
Yeah.
only use the good ones. But
So the good you keep the good one. The do you do, should we go for the next cognac that you have on the back?
um, X-Ratos,
Okay.
yeah, this one was um, this one you meant.
Ouais, this one. This one is
This,
beautiful. It's really dark in color.
yeah, because it's actually more or less the same color as X-Ratos, but the thing is the bottle is thicker and this one is thinner, so it makes the cognac look more look darker. But it's actually more or less the same color.
Okay, what are the difference between those two? Would you say the aromatic profile? They both come from the Borderies, but I imagine that the age is different. What are the other difference between this cognac? What were you trying to do when you created this cognac? What kind of cognac you were trying to do with those two?
Well, I wanted to use only one cru Borderies, but I wanted to make because cognac is what we call the art of blending. So I wanted to create blends, but only with different millésimes of Borderies. So this one, Grand Reserve, is the youngest eau de vie is 10, and the oldest is 15. So you have a 10, 11 to 15 years old eau de vie that age in oak cask from a Limousin region.
Yeah.
So
There
this
is
one is
Tronchet and Limousin. There's two type of cask. There is a Tronchet cask and the Limousin cask. Why do you choose the Limousin cask over the Tronchet cask?
we actually use both cask, but more Limousin cask. Limousin cask is a oak tree that grows very fast. So when we use it for cognac, the tannins are liberated more quickly. So it gives more colors and different tastes like vanilla, toasted bread, brioche, nuts. And then you have Tronchet cask, which is different oak tree, which is more used in red wines because the tannins are not liberated as quick as Limousin oak trees. So it's when we use Tronchet cask for aging cognac, the tannin liberations are slower and you get more like coconut flavors. It's more subtle, but more, I would say, more neutral. It's different. Personally, I prefer Limousin cask because traditionally it's what it was used for aging cognac, as it's the best wood to get the colors and the more aromas.
Yeah, the Limousin, it's a finer one. They give you more aromas, more tannin than
Yeah.
the Tronchet. It sounds like the Tronchet. Even though you're allowed to use it, not many cognac houses are using the Tronchet.
We use a little because it's they give interesting flavors. Like I said, coconut
Yeah.
flavor. Um, so it's interesting to use all these different types of cask.
Did you use
Uh,
because it's really like the blending, like you say, it's like when you're doing perfume or even painting or even a piece of music, you have different notes that you have to mix all together. The Tronchet one, the Tronchet cask. Did you use any Tronchet cask, any eau de vie that were aged in Tronchet cask inside those cognacs? And what were where were you trying? What notes were you trying to bring that we can find in the cognac after later?
yeah, we had those two cognac. There have been some millésimes that were aged in Tranché cask. They give different flavors, more subtiles and sometimes finer. But it's not what we use the most. I personally prefer a Limousin cask with the heat of when we make the cask is medium to strong. Um, it's the process of burning when they make the cask. They make like a brasero inside to make the shape of the cask, and so we can choose different heat of cask from low to medium to high. We don't use low. We
Do
use
you find the heat of the cask is influencing the cognac
yes,
and how is it influencing?
yes, it influences a lot the cognac. It gives oh, well, we say a toasted wood give more vanilla flavors in the first years, and when the wood burns, it's like inside it's like black. It's quite impressive. The wood inside is like almost burned when it's high,
Yeah, and the cognac
and
doesn't taste burn at all. No, it's
no, no,
okay.
no, 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 it's not, it doesn't taste burnt, but when we do the heating, but when the cask maker make that heating process, it happens. I would say a changing in the wood molecules. More different flavors, more complex flavors. Like I said, toasted bread, brioche, vanilla. So it's That's interesting for the cognac.
And those brioche aroma pear vanilla aroma in the cognac might be a good segue to talk about the Pinot because in the Pinot that these are some of the flavor that you do be able to find. The I know you have some beautiful Pinot. I have those reserve privé here that got
Yeah.
the gold medal. I think you got at 13 gold medal on since 2000 since you started, right?
We won 9 medals
Nine.
in at the Salon de l'Agriculture in Paris.
Yeah,
We had won 5 gold and 4 silver.
and it's really showing the excellence of the product that because this competition is rewarding the best French products, and then you have in just a short amount of time you won nine already,
Yeah.
and
Almost every year,
every
we
year.
won 1 or 2 medals, which is quite impressive, I would say. It's not being pretentious to say that, but to win 1 medals in at this competition is already something great. And when you get one, because the winemaker, they put lots of work in their winemaking to try to get an award there.
Yeah,
And it's the only competition which is a public competition which is uh, controlled by the government. So it's the Ministry of Agriculture which organize the event, and they are not meant to make money from this competition like most other competition which are private one. I would say you get more easily awards because it's more centered about making money, and the more medal they give, the more money they get selling.
yeah, I know what you mean. I
So
know what you mean. So this is
yeah,
really to reward the hard work. Why? I know. So like you've been doing that for 5 generations, and I have a question. So you doing that with your brother? No, and is it hard to
my,
pass from one generation to another generation? When you were younger, did you love it, or is it come naturally, or you wanted to do something else? How did you?
this is a long story. I was born in the 80s, and I have always known the Cognac region in crisis. So it was very like traumatizing, I would say, because my family worked very hard to in the vineyard to keep it, because the Europe Council would give money
Yeah, to reap the wines, right? The vineyards. Yeah,
yeah, to
yeah.
the Cognac area less productive. So they would give money to the winemaker to reap here. It was a very long and difficult time for this region in the 90s mainly. So I would say I didn't have a very good experience with cognac when I was young, because
It was a
I've
hot
always
market. The market was hot. In the 90s, Japan was a hot market, isn't it? Japan.
yeah.
But but
Then
and now, how do you find the cognac market has changed since the 90s when you were a
it's
younger kid?
completely different, because before, I was saying, in the 80s mainly, the cognac market was not very diversified. It was mainly uh, Japanese sales, so only one market mainly. And then they had the financial crisis, which made all the cognac sale drop. And now it's different, because the cognac market is worldwide famous and sold in everywhere in the world. So the market is completely different.
And I feel the market is more spread out, and also more exposure to the all the cognac house, not only a selected few, but just we can now the consumer can really taste the boutique, Bouillon de Cru, family-owned cognac house is more accessible as well, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and then well, famous brand like Hennessy, Martell, they have different types of markets. Hennessy is more known for their young cognac for the American market, to make cocktails mainly, which is the first and the main way of
Yeah,
consumption in the world is cocktail. It's not as a digestive. People think is use neat, pure as a digestive mainly, but actually it's a cocktail that makes the more sales of cognac.
Makes the
So
more volume, isn't it? Yeah, the cocktail. And then after you have the more the connoisseur that are drinking the H one. It's a
yeah,
smaller.
I would say then it's the Chinese market is more oriented with old cognac. They prefer to drink old cognac.
How about
Uh,
Cognac Groussin? Do you focus more? Do you feel do you have more presence in the VS category in cocktail, or you feel it's more like the XO reserve that
no, yeah,
you talk?
we make a VS, which is a blend of Frambois and Borderies. I used Frambois in the VS because Frambois is a terroir which is interesting for young cognac, as the aromas
Yeah.
very quickly.
Do,
Um,
what's your take on VS for because before we were talking that the VS for example like Borderies takes long time to get not as long as Grand Champagne and Petit Champagne. But like Borderies as well, it takes quite a long time comparing to Frambois to develop the aroma. So what's your take on the? Can you get a good VS if you're from Grand Champagne, Borderies? How can you get a good VS if so? If
uh,
you're in those area where you know that the cognac has to be aged longer, what's your take on that?
well, for example, Rémy Martin, which is specialized in Grand and Petit Champagne, they stopped VS. They removed the VS from the market, which is well, it's a good choice because Grand and Petit Champagne takes very long time to ease their strains. So to use it as in VS, it gives a very powerful cognac and very strong cognac and different type of aromas. Grand and Petit Champagne are interesting for very old cognac, and they have the capacity of aging the longest one. Then Borderies develop good aromas more quickly than Grand Champagne and Petit Champagne. And the aging can last also very long, and like the Grand Champagne. So I would say you have Bordeaux has all the good quality of all the.
Yeah, it's a good
So
in between. You have the finesse. It's a fine cognac, and then it age a bit longer, as it age faster. It develop aromas faster, and then the aromas they are very floral note, and then a good choky soil as well.
yeah, yeah. So but then I prefer to use at least a 10 years old Bordeaux to make my blends. Because the complexity gets very interesting after all these years in
And
making.
even though like your Borderies is only 10 only I would say, but like it could be categorized as a XO technically because it's more than 8 years, but it's called reserve. But you have a XO. This one
Yeah,
has been aged a lot longer, 20 years.
20 to 30 years. Yeah. It could now they have the cognac AOC. They allowed another category of cognac which is called XXO for extra old.
Ah, yeah, I saw that.
So
I'm not
it's a
sure what to
minimum
think
of
about it.
15 years of aging. So
Okay. So the
so we,
UXO is actually a XXO.
we
You need to
trying
change
to
the
be
label.
so
Yeah.
yeah, great. It's quite new. They made this change.
Let's talk about the Pinot, the Réserve Privée. This is
Yes,
excellent Pinot, some of the best
so we
you
have
can have. So,
the red
which one
one.
are you having? Yeah.
This is the red one. So they are they are blended Pinot de Charentes from our vineyard between 10 to more or less 15 years old in the oak cask. So it's
Now,
actually
which one is it that you have?
where we
Which one was that? The white one or the red one?
sorry
Was it the red one or the white one that you just showed me?
the red one is actually
Red one?
the color is actually it was very dark when he like uh, like this one. It was as dark as this one when it was young. They gone the Réserve Privée, but with the all this time in oak cask, the color gets a little more light, a little lighter. But it's a very unique product because it's very difficult to keep the color after 5 years in oak cask because red Pinot in oak cask after more or less 5 years the red color start to get like brownish and it's not very nice. So when it happens, they would blend it with white Pinot and say it as a white Pinot. So we used some techniques to keep the color for all this time in the oak barrels. So yeah, so it's red Pinot of that age is very rare, and the complexity is very rich of jelly, uh, nuts. So yeah, it's very interesting. This is why we won lots of medal with this one, and also the white one, uh, because the aromatic profile is very wide, which is also quite rare in Old Pinot because Old Pinot they tend to taste only of nuts
Mm.
and
Yeah, actually, I can taste some nuts in a white one. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So the red one tastes of quince jelly, griotte, um, like kirsch a little bit, old port, old porto. Yeah.
Yeah, all port. And for people that don't know, how do you make Pinot? How do you make
Um,
Pinot? And
uh,
this one is 15-year-old especially, so it's quite a unique product. If you can talk a bit more about the what's so special about the production process.
Pinot is what we call the fortified wine or mistel. So it's just like port wine. It's a mix of cognac, eau
Yeah.
de vie cognac, with grape juice.
Mm. And then
Yeah.
what grape did you get for this one? Did you use Uni Blanc?
For the red one, we use Merlot grapes, and the white we used Uni Blanc grapes. Yeah, the
Okay.
same ones as for the cognac. So I can I can hear what you say.
I was just saying it's the Merlot and Uni Blanc.
Yeah, Merlot and Uni. Yeah, for the Pinot, we can use more variety of wines like Colombard, Monty, Semillon. There are and there are more types of vines, and there are great types.
Why do you choose Uni Blanc and not those one? Why do you prefer using the Uni Blanc or the
Uh,
Merlot?
Uni Blanc is to make the white Pinot because it's a white grapes. Merlot is red grapes. The taste of Merlot is very rich and very complex. So it's what we use the main in to make our Pinot.
People don't know about Pinot. It's a beautiful drink. Can't blame them because mostly people know cognac. So normally it's supposed to be enjoy quite cold temperature, like 7, 9 degrees. Is it correct? Is there a difference in temperature for the white Pinot and the red Pinot?
Uh, well, for young Pinot, you can have serve it very chilled, like white wine. Also, you can make cocktails with young Pinot. There are lots of cocktail we can find on the internet. There is one quite famous. It's called Pinot Rito as
Yeah, yeah, I've
Morito.
done this one. It's good, so good. Yes, I love
Yeah,
it.
they're very tasty with the white Pinot. You can make Pinot Rito. It's very good, very interesting. As not many people know this cocktail. Then you can use it with ice cube also, and then also with tonic. So if you like cocktails, and then if you like it neat, you have it just as a chilled.
Yeah, it's a different
As,
way. I love it as well when you put so cognac inside. Cognac, like for example, I would say maybe 45 ml or 60 ml cognac, and then add a little bit of Pinot inside, and then the orange zest, and then some lemon lime and some bitter inside. So to have like
yeah,
an old fashioned and with some ice inside, it's so yummy. That's then yeah, like you say, you can put with the sparkling, the soda. You can mix, but sometimes I put in a champagne as well. So I put champagne and then just add a little bit of Pinot, maybe one third
yes,
or
yeah,
just a dash, to make
yeah.
the champagne a bit rounder. It's different, not so dry.
It's a bit like a Clair Royal, but with Pinot.
Ah, yeah, yeah, that's right. That's the Royal Charentes, actually. Exactly. It's
It's
so
very
good.
good. Yeah.
Do you think the old one you can have it more like room temperature? It's okay. The younger
Um,
one is recommended to have it chilled like white one, but the older one was the best serving
but the,
temperature. You think?
the other one,
Mm.
what I would suggest is you can serve it around 12, 14 degrees. So not as cold as the young one, because the cold they tend to um, to hide the aroma when it's very cold. It's like an aesthetic. The red one, what I would suggest is you take the bottle out of the fridge 5 minutes before serving, and then around 12, 14 degrees. It's a good temperature to enjoy the complexity with the old Pinot. Yeah. So, but old Pinot always
Yeah.
have it still as
Mm.
the aromas are amazing.
Yeah, that's good to know because I think people need to know more about the serving, how to drink it, how to enjoy with cooking as well. I think the red Pinot, like for example, you can have it, but with the white Pinot, I would do with the watermelon. That's a good one to have.
Yeah, well, in France, Pinot is used as an aperitif, but it's the French culture, which is not like this in English spoken countries, which is the, the the culture of aperitif is not as spread as in France. So the Pinot in the English spoken countries, it would be more used as a desert wine. Um, Also, you can have Pinot with sushi. With
Okay, it's interesting. This one is sushi.
Yeah, with sushi because sushi tends to be salted. Sorry, with the soy sauce.
That's true.
Um,
That's true.
and so when you eat sushi and have a glass of Pinot, it balances the sweet and the salty flavors. So it's a good, very good,
Okay. So the white,
very,
which one would you recommend with the sushi and the soy sauce? The white one, the red one, the old one, the yeah.
then it depends of people's tastes. Both are good. Maybe the old white is what
Yeah, yeah.
the best, but yeah. So with sushi food is very good. Japanese food. Also with spicy food, it's very good.
Actually, it's true. Last time I had the butter chicken, but it was very spicy, you know. And I served some Pinot, and also good to counterbalance the spice to have
Yeah,
something a bit sweet like this during the dinner.
but the good thing with Pinot, unlike wines, is you can have it with sweet or salted dishes. So, like red wine, you would have it with salted dishes, and also white wines if it's dry, and then Muelo wines, you have it with desserts or things like this.
Mm,
Uh, Pinot can go with either sweet or salty. So
yeah.
also with blue cheese like Roquefort, Bleu d'Auvergne, Gorgonzola, uh, Comté cheese is very good.
Uh-huh.
And then with desserts, the red ones is very nice with desserts, like with Forêt Noire, for example. The red wine is very good.
And maybe raspberry as well. If you have like raspberry tart with the red Pinot, that would go well too much.
All the red fruits, red grapes, desserts goes very well with the all red. I also tried the all red with lobster, and it was sort of tomato sauce served with the lobster, and it was very good.
So actually, it's a very versatile drink. It's a drink that need more people to try. I love it personally, and then I'm happy when can actually you can have it in many different ways. The
Oh
Pinot,
yeah, yeah,
the Pinot.
yeah. There are so
What's
many,
coming next
and
for
also
you?
also for Christmas with foie gras. It's
Ah, yes, that's true.
the best, very good combination. Foie gras and Pinot Charentes.
The
Oh, sorry, I can hear what you said.
I was saying, it does it matter? Like for the foie gras, would you use the red Pinot, white Pinot, the old one, or young one?
The old one, for sure.
Old one again, yeah.
Foie gras is quite elaborated.
So
It's a
it's
fine,
amazing.
and it's good to have yeah, the old Pinot is foie gras.
And for
Um,
yeah, for people that want to try the Pinot from William Groussin, right now, if you want, if you're living in Australia, send me a message, an email. Then you can I can send you a little sample. So if you want, you can follow Frenchy Delish on on Instagram and Facebook. You can send me a message. You can join the Cognac Lover Australia, or you can send me an email, alex@frenchydelish.com. If you're living in Australia and you're legal age, I can send you a little samples for you to try. For Cognac Groussin, you go to cognac.groussin to follow William in his adventure, fifth generation of the Cognac Groussin now carrying on. Who is gonna be the sixth generation, William?
I don't know. I don't have children yet.
Do you feel the
So
pressure? Like you're thinking about it? Like you're thinking, oh my god, I need to pass on to someone. I was reading a
also,
book about that, and then it seems it's hard to pass. And actually, there's something I'm impressed with the cognac industry in that you know, like you can have the cognac house for five generations, and some other cognac house is even longer. You know, so it's something really that is remarkable when you a normal business is hard to keep for a couple of years only, you know, or 5, 10 years. But actually, cognac you can pass to another generation, so you have to deal with all the market up and down, and then you have to find the next person you're gonna give the cognac house to. It's quite challenging.
well, I think it's well, I'm not worried about this, and if I had children, I would leave them choose their career. I think it's the most important for um, for their own experience. I think if they want to do it, fine. But I think it's best to leave your children choose what they want.
Mm,
Uh, so not much pressure with that. I will live life, choose what's what it wants.
yeah. That's a good way of
It needs
seeing it.
someone. It needs someone passionate
Are
for
you
sure.
passionate? You must be because it's a hard work. So it's awesome. That, especially you're
Yeah.
so young. You know, normally you don't see such a young people. Normally it's be older, but you're a young cognac maker that have been past 5 generations of knowledge, and then now you make the beautiful cognac, and then you have so many gold medals.
Yeah, it's mainly uh, more, I would say, older people, maybe because it would take their whole life to get, for example, several medals like I won so quickly. Uh, so I don't know, maybe I was gifted. uh,
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
have, I have good memories, and to make blend, it's important to have good memories of flavors. It's like just like perfumes and.
Hmm. Did your dad train you when you were a kid to smell the different cognac?
Oh yeah, I was very fascinated with flavors, and 'cause I was born and raised in a farm, uh, childhood in the countryside. So,
That's awesome. If you want people you've been watching, if you want to follow William, Go to Instagram, cognac.groussin. And yeah, if you want to get hold of those Pinot, you're in Australia, just contact me. The cognac, you can contact William or me directly, and then you can try something unique. I would be so keen to try the cognac myself because it's Borderies is my favorite crew because that's where my grandma is. Chérac is not too far from Bury, and then I have tried many good cognac from Borderies before, and your one especially had so many good reviews, and then it's aged a lot longer than what you can find with the most mainstream brand. So really unique um, product.
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still a family business, not.
What do you see the market going for your family business with the cognac? Do you in a consumer market? What do
I
you
want
see?
to keep. I want to keep the same quality. I'm not uh, running after volumes. I think quality is what is most important. So I would
Yeah,
say on that.
that is awesome. Thank you, William, for
Yeah,
your
thank you.
time.
Sure. Thank you.
Do you, is there is anything to add? It was good to chat with you. Take the time
Yes,
to
thank
go
you. And
through everything.
the day is starting here, and yours is going up.
Yeah,
Okay.
for us in Australia is the Easter break, so we all very excited to have 4 days off.
Oh,
Many people are gonna travel, but there's some travel restriction now in Byron Bay and some other area because of the coronavirus. So
yeah.
it's a bit troublesome, but we are very lucky in Australia still with to live quite a normal life, and it's great that we are able to chat with you, and bring more awareness as well to the other cognac lover in Australia, and then
Yeah.
discuss with another passionate of cognac. It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Have a good
Well,
weekend. Thank you.
thank you, Alexandre. Have a good day, and we you have a more question in the future, but don't
Yeah,
hesitate.
sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day, William. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Thank you. You too, Alexandre. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Goodbye.
Au revoir. Hey guys, that was William and me, and yeah, it's amazing. I love it. Cognac Groussin, small cognac house. He's doing that the cognac with his brother. They work together. They have been passed the vineyard from their from their parents. He's been in the business since he's a kid. For 5 generations, the Groussin family have been producing cognac in the Borderies, and they really focus on the quality. So they don't look after big quantity. They take really their time to produce the best cognac. They don't take shortcut. They do it properly, and then you can tell in the quality of their product. So the Pinot, gold medals, the cognac, they got excellent review, and then it's aged a lot longer as well, and they really each process is done with very meticulous. And I hope you enjoy. You had a good glass, and then you learned something, a thing or two. And have a good weekend, guys. Stay safe, enjoy, take a nice little break, and stay tuned to the next one.